What would you do with $1 billion? Maybe buy yourself a Lamborghini, then cover it in millions of Swarovski crystals? Why not just cover a toilet in 18-karat gold? You deserve it, right? We all know there would probably be that one ridiculous purchase that we can't pass up, even if it'll cost us millions. Today, we'll be looking at 15 useless things billionaires spend their money on. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to The Supreme, and click the notification bell for more lit content. Let's get rolling. Number 15. Buy a century-old ship. We've all thought about traveling back in time, but what about to year 1912? Aboard Titanic, the world-famous ship that hit an iceberg between Southampton and New York, killing over 1,500 people. Doesn't sound like a good idea. Yeah, I don't think so either, but it does to billionaire Clive Palmer. Over 100 years after the sinking of the Titanic, that was falsely deemed unsinkable, billionaire Clive Palmer has nothing else to spend his money and time on than to rebuild and finish what was started. That's right, $527 million later, the Titanic II is almost fully operational. Well, somewhat. Only one problem. We haven't been able to find any new updates about the plans. Originally revealing plans back in 2012, the Titanic II was set to take sail in 2018, then again changed to year 2022 after financial disputes with the company behind the project, Blue Star Line. One thing's for sure, it will be a sight to see as over 40,000 passengers have already reserved tickets to relive the experience, keeping the original interior layout, but this time with some updated amenities. And that's right, more lifeboats. What do you see when you look at this picture? I see a tropical oasis that I can take with me anywhere. I see an entire village built into a ship. I feel like this ship just has to already be at least in the year 2070. There's been so many different advancements in technology that the opportunities are now endless, but this leaves me speechless. Traveling by sea can be very scary, but with the right surroundings and the best amenities, I could imagine it would be a dream come true. How much do you think this ship is worth? Tell us your thoughts by leaving a comment on the video with the hashtag #OpenDiscussion to let us know what you think of this beautiful sight. Number 14. The world's most expensive baseball card. Have any old baseball cards laying around? Well, what if I told you they could be worth up to $1.2 million? That's right, now that I got your attention, the Honus Wagner card, made with the T206 cards production from 1909 to 1911, is worth just that much. Wagner was a shortstop for the Pittsburgh Pirates during the turn of the 20th century. With less than 50 cards made, Honus Wagner refused American Tobacco Company's request to use his image on tobacco products, which led the company to end the production of his card.
Yeah, I told the tobacco company back then, I don't want my picture on a ball card.
With only a grade of a 2 on a 1 to 10 scale by professional sports authenticators, only 6 of these cards have been graded higher than this $1 million gem, making the sale of this card a true treasure. Each time the card has been sold, its value has gone up. Good luck to the next highest bid. Number 13. Buy the neighbor's house if they complain about the noise. Most of us have had one neighbor that complains about everything. What is the solution? Well, why not just buy their home and live happily ever after? Too bad we're not Aubrey Graham. That's right, 33-year-old rapper known as Drake actually bought his neighbor's house after it only cost him a mere $2.5 million, which is just a drop in a bucket when it comes to this Toronto mansion worth over $100 million. The newly acquired estate is on 1 acre of land with the home averaging 4,000 square feet, hardwood floors, high ceilings, and a top-of-the-line gourmet kitchen, which is still only about half of the square foot of Drake's remarkable home. I'm sure Drake can now enjoy his home with peace of mind, which costs him just a few measly $1 million. This problem isn't the solution the neighbor was hoping for, but talk about being in the right place at the right time. Number 12. Purchase the most expensive junk cars. One of the most intriguing supercar collections in the world, worth over $22 billion, belongs to the Sultan of Brunei. Located in the northwest corner of Borneo, this tiny nation has a collection of cars that takes up anywhere from 6 to 20 miles of road just to park. Sounds like a colossal traffic jam to me, boasting some of the most rare cars in the world, from Ferrari to BMW to Lamborghini, most of which haven't even been started in years. Imagine the maintenance bills. The youngest of the Sultan brothers, Prince Jeffrey, is responsible for most of the purchases, spending over $475 million at Rolls-Royce alone. Humidity and the conditions the cars are now kept in have played a huge part in most of the cars being deemed not drivable. Most of the cars were bought in the same model and same color, as their motto was to get as many as we can get of anything we can get. It's no wonder that they ran out of money in 1997, resulting in Prince Jeffrey signing an agreement to return assets, owning over 600 properties and over 2,000 cars, hundreds of paintings, and under a dozen boats and aircraft. Number 11. Create alien art. We all wonder if there's life out there in space. Well, Sheikh Hamad, a member of the royal family of Abu Dhabi, must have had plans to welcome the extraterrestrial with open arms. His project, covering a mass area of up to a mile wide and a third of a mile across in the uninhabited island of Abu Dhabi, included a series of winding canals in the southern end of the Futaizi Island that spells out the name Hamad, so deep that it can be seen from space. Too bad the project was never completed. About halfway through the completion of the project, the name vanished. Members of the Sheikh Hamad's Abu Dhabi office hired to erase the project claimed they were simply hired to do a job and wouldn't disclose why or when. It's rumored that the image didn't fit into the Abu Dhabi 2030 plans, which was launched back in 2008, including modernized transportation networks, a blossoming art scene, and millions of dollars in spending. Well, it was pretty innovative while it lasted. Spend $1 million on a parking spot. If you had $1 million, what would you spend it on? How about a parking spot? If you've ever been to New York City, then you know how dire the parking situation is. But I don't know if it's worth $1 million. That's more than 4 times the median sale price of an average home in America. A new development on 42 Crosby Street will push every limit of New York City real estate, offering parking spaces that are worth more than the luxury apartments being sold upstairs. That's right, for the price of a luxury home in Dallas or a home with modern amenities in Seattle, you can buy a 1,500 square foot garage for your car in New York, averaging $250,000 per tire. But hurry, they're being sold on a first-come, first-served basis. I'm sure that line is all the way to New Jersey. Buy the world's most expensive painting. How much would you be willing to pay for an original Leonardo da Vinci masterpiece? Well, what about one that may or may not be an original? That brings us to the famous Salvator Mundi. It's one of the most talked about old master paintings of our times. This speculated Leonardo da Vinci original has been questioned for its authenticity. Spectators believe this is simply a copy of a lost original, veiled with overpainting. Others claiming it was an original of the studio of Da Vinci, claiming to have been painted by one of his students, but this restored painting has been a mystery ever since it's come to surface. Since appearing in a major Leonardo exhibition at the National Gallery in London in 2011-2012, the painting sold at over $450 million to Saudi Arabian Supreme Ruler Mohammed bin Salman. Since acquiring the painting, there are many speculations as to where it's being held, as it's never been seen again. Many believe Mohammed bin Salman whisked the painting away on his yacht, the Serene, which has been seen near the Netherlands coast. Spend $3.1 million on dinner. Talk about being a foodie. When you're the sushi king, there's no limit to the price you'll pay for fresh sushi, right? What about 613 pounds of sushi? Now that changes the game for Kiyoshi Kimura, owner of the Sushizumi chain. Kimura paid over $3.1 million for a bluefin tuna at Tokyo's fish market, commenting on how fat and fresh the tuna looked. Even though he was happy with his purchase, even Kimura himself believed he'd possibly paid too much for the catch. Caught off the northern coast of Japan, sushi made from this tuna could cost customers anywhere around $300 per piece. The bluefin tuna is now believed to be an endangered species, making this sale even more unique. I'm sure that $3.1 million will never be recovered, but the delight on that face of his customers will be priceless. Buy a Lamborghini covered in crystals. If you've ever wondered what it's like to drive luxury, well, get ready to be taken on a ride. How would you like to take a ride through London in a Lamborghini dripping in Swarovski crystals? Russian Instagram model Dara Radionova has broken the mold when it comes to being flashy by doing just that. That's right, she took a $500,000 car and covered it in over 2 million Swarovski crystals, the most extreme move the model has made. Boasting a pretty flashy luxury car collection, Dara likes everything gold or crystal, explaining why she covered not only this Lamborghini, but also another Lamborghini she owns and also a Bentley. I wouldn't want to compete with her in a car show, but I'd sure love to go for a ride. Buy a zebra for the living room. How would you like to own a tiger shark? Sounds pretty dangerous, right? Well, famous, yet extremely controversial artist Damien Hirst has come up with just the solution. Just kill it first, then put it in a tank. Duh, why didn't we think of that? Well, maybe because animal rights enthusiasts would be knocking at our door. Damien Hirst's iconic tiger shark creation, named The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living, as well as many other controversial pieces, has been said to have killed over 1 million creatures in the name of art. With creatures ranging from cows to sheep to pigs, the artist has no problem displaying the animal from the inside out, as some of the most famous pieces include the internal organs and skeletons. Having a career of over 30 years, Hirst's art first appeared in the early 1990s. Although most of the animals were dead before he acquired them, most of them were said to have been killed in the name of art. I'd say that's a pretty hefty price to pay to become one of the most famous artists in the world. Spend hundreds on frozen water. When you hear the words luxury ice, what do you think of? Probably some sort of jewelry, possibly diamonds, right? Wrong. We're talking about cold, hard ice. A California company by the name of Glacé Ice has taken luxury to a whole nother level. This just isn't some regular ice cube. Glacé Ice will cost you roughly $325 for 50 cubes. They're made in cubed or sphere shapes, which the company believes promotes minimum dilution and maximum cooling and is purified of minerals, additives, and other pollutants before reaching the customer. This ice is to be enjoyed with premium spirits, which the company believes greatly enhances enjoyment at the point of consumption. Next time you have an extra $325, try it out and let me know how pure it tastes, because this frozen water is out of my budget. Blow $60,000 on a phone bill. Remember a time, galaxies ago, before talk and text were unlimited? Yeah, me either, but apparently that happened. Not only did it happen, but it resulted in phone bills upwards of over $5,000 per month for known New York socialite Jocelyn Wildenstein, otherwise known as Catwoman, for her extensive plastic surgery altering her appearance to look like a feline. Once married to billionaire Alec Wildenstein, Jocelyn was used to a life of luxury, spending $1 million per month while married. Once widely regarded as one of the wealthiest women in the United States, after receiving $2.5 million in a divorce settlement in 1999, as well as over $100,000 in maintenance fees, the now bankrupt socialite has nothing to show for it, currently living off her $900 per month Social Security allowance. Reports have claimed that Jocelyn received art in the divorce settlement as part of her trust agreement, which was later determined to be fraudulent, as well as the family cutting off the $100,000 fees from their trust after 17 years. I'm sure that was one heck of a reality check. Buy a 500-year-old book. Ever heard the expression, a penny for your thoughts? Well, what if I told you instead of a penny, one day they might be worth $30.8 million. Bill Gates, one of the most wealthy people in the world, is known for anything but frivolous spending. But there's one item he couldn't resist. In 1994, before Bill Gates was deemed the richest man in the world, Gates couldn't help from splurging on Leonardo da Vinci's journal Codex Leicester, making this one of the most expensive books ever sold. This document, with over 72 pages, was written between 1506 and 1510 and includes ideas about astronomy, mathematics, botany, and architecture. Fascinated by Da Vinci's Renaissance way of thinking, Bill Gates is now the proud owner of the journal, now being one of the only people that can share Leonardo's sense of curiosity with the world. To further preserve the book, which is mounted behind glass, Gates launched a project that turned the book into an interactive kiosk with touchscreen, which now allows others to explore the mind of Leonardo as well. Purchase an abandoned storage unit. We always hear one man's trash is another man's treasure, but this Long Island, New York couple takes that expression to a whole new level. I'm sure when the couple bought an old storage unit for $100 back in 1989, they never would have guessed it would have made them rich. Underneath blankets and other rubble sat the 1977 Lotus Esprit, the very same car used in the James Bond movie The Spy Who Loved Me. In the movie, the supercar magically transformed into a missile-firing submarine. This would only be important to someone that has seen the movie though, right? The anonymous couple that had never seen the movie quickly realized what they had after passerbys notified them through the radio that they were transporting the James Bond car. They spent decades displaying the car in museums before deciding to sell it in auction to a secret buyer for nearly $1 million. That was later revealed as the creator of Tesla, Elon Musk, who plans to use Tesla technology to turn the non-drivable submarine into a real transformer, not just a fictional one. Now this I can't wait to see. Flush it down the toilet. You might want to brace yourself. This one can get pretty cheeky. If you had millions of dollars worth of gold, where would you put it? How about on your toilet? That's right, artist Maurizio Catalan, creator of the 18-karat gold masterpiece, wanted to create this vision so that the 99% could experience the 1%, thus naming the piece America. The gold commode was first put on exhibit back in 2016 at the Guggenheim in New York City, where over 100,000 people waited patiently in line to use the fully functioning masterpiece. After no more than 24 hours of moving the piece to a larger exhibit containing even more of Catalan's work at Blenheim Palace, which is the birthplace and family home of Winston Churchill, the toilet was stolen. Catalan believed the toilet would be worth more than $4 million once melted into gold bricks, and so far the toilet bandit is still on the loose. That was 15 useless things billionaires spend their money on. What did you think was the oddest thing to spend money on today's list? If you had all that money to spend, what would you spend it on? Let us know by commenting down below. You've been watching The Supreme. We'll see you soon.